Yo. This is your boy G, and we are the EBS podcast, starting you out with the smooth jazz stylings of the Quad City DJ Circa Day 1996.
Your intros have just...
This is episode 7 of The Educated Black Siblings. As I said, my name is Gilbert. To my left is my sister. Introduce yourself.
Hello, and hello again, lovely podcast people in podcast land. My name is Lindsay, and here we are, EBS.
Yeah, so my intro was that was pretty loud. Quad City DJs was lit, man.
For who?
For me, 1996.
What other song did they have?
96 was a good year.
Just for Come On Ride the Train?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
96, you were like 4.
Well.
How old are you 96? 8. 7.
How have you been, sis?
How does math work?
How does math work?
I've been fine, man. I'm a little bit tired. It's my first week back at school. Summertime is over. So I'm going through my summertime sadness. But it's fine. I'm good. You know, chilling, hanging out, living life, getting that money. I don't dance no more. I just make money moves.
Hey, Cardi B. Cardi B.
How have you been?
I don't know. I'm trying to get Cardi B to sponsor the podcast. I've been sending her messages.
We need you've been DMing Cardi B.
I mean, when you say it like that, it makes it not sound good.
I mean,
but, you know,
it's what's happening.
It is what it is. Hey, so today is we record the podcast on Saturdays. I would just like to let you podcast people know that today in history, on this day, in 1908, Henry Ford built the first Model T car.
Okay, Ford.
And on this day, in 1981, IBM introduced the first personal computer.
Say what?
Why did I tell you that?
Please tell me.
I have no idea. But welcome to the podcast, guys. We appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown on Instagram, on Twitter. You can follow us at the EBS Podcast on both of those things, or just look us up on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Drop us a like, drop us a mention. Again,
drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. We appreciate the love, guys. For the first-time listeners that are listening to the podcast, just a brief explanation of what we do here. This is the Educated Black Siblings podcast. We are black, we are educated, we are siblings. We typically start out just talking about what's going on in the world, try to keep it a little bit more serious, and then we dive into some pop culture, entertainment type topics. And then at the end of the podcast, we talk about our top 5 for the episode. And today's top 5 is
Drizzy Drake.
Top 5 Drake songs.
We're doing our top 5 favorite Degrassi episodes, so please stay tuned.
Bruh, chill.
We're not, no. Top 5 Drake songs. It'll be fantastic. I'm Blim for real.
I am Blim for real. That is a dope song. It's not on my list, but it's a dope song.
I don't believe you.
So Lindsay, just jumping right in. Lindsay pointed out something to me the other day.
Hold on.
I'm
real quick.
In. Nope, we're not jumping in.
Just real quick.
Pause.
To a listener that shouted me out on Twitter, to Nolia 2013, about you and your wedding hashtags. No, I will not be involved with you and your wedding hashtags, sir. No, I won't. I still hate them. So this is for you, sir. I will not be involved with that. Thank you. Good night.
All right, we're talking to the listeners.
Listen, guys, we told y'all, if you tweet us, if you Instagram us, we're going to shout back at you. I wanted him to know that I saw it, and I don't approve. I still hate wedding hashtags.
I will, if you send us an invitation, I will be at your wedding.
Oh, no, I'm going to be at the wedding.
I will hashtag it.
Just know I won't hashtag a single thing there.
So, Lindsay.
Yes.
Tell me about this Google memo.
Google, oh, man.
So Google sent out a memo. It is being dubbed as, what is it, the anti-diversity screed?
Screed?
That's what people have been calling it. It's like a creed, but a screed. I don't know. That's what the article I read saw. It called it
Where did you get your
anti-diversity screed. Okay. Maybe it was a typo.
All right. So Google didn't send out a memo. It was this guy. His name is James Damore, don't know how to say it, doesn't matter. But essentially,
because he got fired.
He got fired. So essentially, this guy worked at Google, and he was looking around. He's like, man, like, I feel like there's some things going on here that I'm not cool with, that I want to bring to people's attention. So he had typed this like 10-page long memo where essentially he was talking about diversity at Google and how Google, quote unquote, claims to be a diverse place, but when people that have different views from the majority of the people at Google, they seem to feel like they're ostracized and outcast or whatever. He also dived into like the differences between men and women in the workplace and kind of pointed out like weaknesses on both sides. And it was it was a very interesting memo when you read it. But what ended up happening is that essentially Google fired him, claiming that he broke some of their bylaws or something like that. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting. So I just wanted to see how you felt about that, because I'm still trying to figure it out exactly how I feel.
So here's the thing: we've talked about this a lot. This view of being bigoted, and I don't want this to be taken as me supporting or defending Mr. Damore's views. This is related but unrelated. I think that we're going to see this more and more, because what you see in workplaces is a push for diversity, a push for inclusion of the LGBTQ community, inclusion of minorities, inclusion of women. And what's happening is that is starting to make white males feel ostracized, right? Okay. And like for the first time in a long time in history, white males they're like, this guy in his message, he's saying, well, all I'm hearing about is how we're supposed to be, making things better for women, and we're supposed to be making things better for homosexuals, and we're supposed to be making things better for blacks and Latinos, but what about me, is essentially what he's saying, right? And again, I'm not defending that, but I think it's an interesting perspective, because you do see that a lot in the media. There's a push for representation in the media, which is interesting. A white guy, I was having a conversation with a white guy, and he brought up an interesting point. He's like, black people will complain when there are no black people in a movie. And he was like, but I'm not allowed to complain about black shows. But he was like, the majority of the country is white, so why wouldn't the majority of media be white? I was like, you know what?
It's a fair point.
That's an interesting perspective, right? We are a minority, right? The other thing that Mr. James was pointing out in his memo, which the feminists are going to kill him, which is why Google fired him, but he was stating that there is a documented pay gap between men and women in the United States of America. That's not something I'm disputing, because I don't dispute data, and that's just data, right? Mm-hmm. But something that he was pointing out is we're pushing these initiatives at Google, and we're saying that the reason that women aren't represented at Google is because of sexism, when in reality, if you look at the numbers, there are just more men in the field of technology in general. That's not my point. That is what James was saying in his message, right? I'm trying to give you guys a glimpse of some of the things that upset people that he was saying, right? But the main thing that he was going at is just that, hey, this is a really liberal company, and I feel like we're pushing a liberal agenda, and I feel like the right is underrepresented. So he was trying to represent them. So it's a slippery slope.
So do you think he was in the wrong for doing this? Do you think he was out of order for doing this? I'm asking multiple questions. Do you think it was warranted that they fired him? Where do you stand on?
They had to fire him. So when Google, yeah. So here's the thing: when you work for a company, your company posts all sorts of standards and messages about their culture or whatever, right? It's clearly stated in most HR policies that these are things that as employees you're not supposed to talk about politics in the workplace. You're not supposed to talk about sexual orientation, etc. Like those are things those are all fireable offenses at most companies, right? Mm-hmm. So again, I feel bad that this man lost his job, but I think Google had to fire him in order to distance themselves from the situation, to show that this is not something that is a greater problem at Google. But I think it probably is.
But then doesn't that just show, I don't want to say intolerance, but aren't they just kind of like squashing his right to free speech, and so to say? Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's like, okay, so you represent the right and you feel this way, and that's fine, but we don't, so goodbye. I mean, that's kind of I don't know. I don't say if I agree or disagree with him. I just feel like I thought that the firing was a bit excessive, but I understand.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the stuff he was saying was kind of out there. Like he was saying the reasons that women don't get to leadership roles is not because of sexism. It's because, they're just naturally not inclined to have the personality traits that push you to such positions, he was like, or whatever.
Men are more ambitious and going up the ladder and whatever.
It leads to an interesting point that I was discussing with somebody else, and it's just that I recently, I don't want to say started to understand, but I see why some white people who don't have a lot of exposure to black people feel the way that they feel about our struggle. And that has made me more conscious of that for other people's struggle, right? Because when I'm in a unique situation in my career in that when I hear about the women's struggle, sometimes it's foreign to me because in my last job, my boss was a woman. Her boss was a woman. Mm-hmm. Her boss was a man, but his boss was a woman. In the position that I'm in now, my boss is a woman, her boss is a woman, the boss's boss is a woman, and the VP of this organization is a woman, right?
Okay.
So when I look around, I say, oh, there's lots of women in power in my field, but that's just my personal story, right?
Yeah.
So I understand how a white person can look at me and say, what black struggle? Like, you're middle management by 30, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you can't take that personal experience and extrapolate that to the whole, right? Just because Dallas is a good market and the companies that I've worked at have women in leadership, that's not reflective of the entire country and of the entire industry, right?
Yeah.
There's still a problem there. And I think that that's part of how, I was having this conversation with somebody who says that they are a feminist, and that's the point that I raised, and she was giving me the numbers, and I was like, hey, you know what, you're right. That's an issue, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the stuff that he brought up in the memo was stuff that we need to talk about. I think that the conversation should be had. Again, I'm sorry that he lost his job, but I don't know. It was interesting.
I think it's interesting because how do I want to word this? I don't want to say there's no right or wrong. Like, I feel like people need to be treated as people, but I just think it goes back to the whole bigoted thing. I feel like you need to understand that regardless on if you feel like someone's opinion is valid or if you feel like you agree with their opinion, they still have the right to express it.
Right.
They still have the right to feel whatever way. So just because so-and-so feels a certain way, you can't deny their ability to feel that way. And I feel like the more that we continue to separate ourselves and the more that we say, okay, that's fine, you can go over there, you can go work for your companies that feel that way, and we're going to be over here, or we're going to work this way, I feel like that's just a dangerous, slippery slope that we are currently going
It's divisive. Down. The other thing that we have to understand, I know this sucks, right? But I relate this to the Colin Kaepernick situation as well, right? The thing that you have to remember is that when you take a stand for whatever you take a stand for, there are consequences for the stand that you're going to take,
Sure.
Right? So, again, this young man felt strongly about his opinions, and he got fired for them. Whether that is right or wrong is something else. But I don't know. The whole diversity thing is interesting because we do see the push for diversity. I see it in my company. I see it in every company that I've been in. But it's necessary because of the history that this country has had against both women and minorities, right? We're by and large playing behind the curve and trying to play catch up. So companies are going above and beyond at this point in time to try to include people. But it's just like, I don't know, even in media, there's the push to, all right, we're gonna take this character and make them female now, or we need to have a female Buzz Lightyear in a new,
or female Doctor Who,
or a female Doctor Who, or we need to have a black Charles Xavier, right? Like I understand from the other perspective how it's like, why are you turning these things that are not about diversity into diversity?
Which is interesting. Like, I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. Like, truly, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, as a black person, I'm super excited to see more representation in media, and I'm super excited that there's pushes for companies to be more inclusive. Like, my best friend works at head of diversity at a company. Like, that's literally what she does. But when you think about it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of, there is a message being sent that's saying, this is what we need to do, and if you are in the majority right now, you've had your time, right. So I mean, it's an interesting time.
And again, hear me, black people. We are not we are not against diversity. We are just exploring the other side of the argument to not be bigots, right? Because I could hear Shea Butter Twitter roasting me now.
Listen, Shea Butter can go on.
I don't have time for it.
Shea, you can get on. Listen, we are clearly all about the diversity,
right? So,
speaking of white males,
Donald Trump, it's your boy. That's your boy.
Are you going to Donald?
I'm going to Donald.
Okay.
Where were you going?
I was going to Virginia.
Virginia. I don't even know if I can.
Because there were updates. Because I didn't realize it was like an entire rally.
First of all, tell the people what happened.
All right. So, y'all, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but hate is out and it is strong, man. It is out here in these streets living. So last night, there was a huge gathering at the University of Virginia for the alt-right. And there were white supremacists carrying torches, which I thought it was lovely that they decided to go discount and had tiki torches straight from Walmart, but carried lit torches and were running around screaming end immigration, and they were yelling old Nazi slogans and throwing up Nazi salutes and just being, their regular alt-right white supremacist selves. And I'm just bold and proud about it. However, I didn't realize that was the beginning of a larger rally, which is currently taking place right now. They are gathered outside of a statue of General Robert E. Lee, which sure is fitting. And they're just having the time of their lives protesting.
What were they protesting? Just
Minorities. Like they were just being hateful. I can look.
So
it up.
it was just an alt-right
It
rally.
just it's literally it's called so. It's
'Cause
literally
this happened yesterday, right?
It's happening right now.
Okay,
like,
yeah, see, I'm
like
not-
I
I'm
didn't
not up to
realize
date.
that that's why I just looked at Twitter. I didn't realize that it was a continuous thing, but they're literally having, I guess, a conference, and they're calling it Unite the Right. And essentially what's happening is that alt-right groups are saying,
You can
hey,
say alt-white.
Sure. Alt-white groups are saying, hey, we need to be unified in this time of diversity. We need to be together and stand together and say, no, 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 we won't allow that. No, 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 we will stand true in our hate of others, which it just blows my mind. But
United hate.
United hate.
That's good.
And here we are. So they're like full blown out here protesting, having a good old time, carrying signs, living life. The thing that a lot of people seemingly on Twitter are going off about is that they are quote unquote protesters, but it's peaceful apparently. Like there's no tear gas, no nothing. There's no act of violence against this, and people are upset saying that if this were any other large group of people, like something would have happened so far, or there would have been incidents occurred. And I don't know. It's a whole hot mess. I don't know what's going on, but I don't.
So the alt-right has the right to gather and peacefully protest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, man. I don't like you said. It's a crazy time in the country. Actually, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not a crazy time in the country.
That I need people to understand is like, don't get me wrong. We've got a lot to knock Donald Trump on, guys. You don't have to put certain things on him. This has been a thing that has been happening.
Yeah, this is
for a while. Like Gilbert mentioned in the last
not Trump's
podcast,
fault.
we have like an active KKK unit like in our general like county. Like it's
I want to interview a KKK
and
member.
again, I'm sick that day, so you can do what you want.
But I would just like to. I would like to hear from a KKK member what the mission statement of their organization is, because he's not gonna say to hate black people. Like the KKK is a Christian organization, right? So it's like I really do. I want to hear from one of their mouths what the aims of their organization are, what they stand for, what it is they're trying to do, and I want to talk about how that conflicts possibly with the views of them in society and the actions that they have taken in society.
Okay.
I'd really like to have that conversation with
on
somebody.
the phone.
I mean, I'll meet a KKK member.
No, you won't. I won't allow it. Absolutely, you will not.
Is it because we live by a
It's
cornfield?
because we live literally in the middle of a cornfield.
Yeah, all right.
I
Whatever.
refuse. You're not going to meet him in the barn and have a conversation.
I was about to ask the KKK to shout me out, but please don't.
No. Don't pass this
Don't
card
do that.
around. It's fine.
If the KKK is as active on YouTube as Atlantic, they've already heard this.
Okay.
Speaking of Atlantic, I'm playing your songs on the podcast next week, so come through.
So, anyways, but apparently Richard Spencer is going to be speaking at the Unite the Right thing, and he's
Are you making this up?
no, I
Is this real?
literally am reading this from the Huffington Post. Like, no,
I don't have time.
why would he not be there? Those are his people.
Oh my goodness.
Like, it's a whole conference, and it's terrifying because I've said this multiple times that we are in a time of division in our country, and we need to be unified. And hey,
they are unified.
look at them. They got the message. They're
message.
unified.
They listen to the
And
podcast.
here's what's crazy. I feel like, I mean, it is from the outside looking in, but I feel like one of their goals is to incite fear into certain groups of people.
Why I'm afraid. Good job.
And it's like they're accomplishing it. Look at what happens when you work together. So, hats off to you, all right.
And while they are meeting and protesting immigration for whatever reason, even though all of their ancestors are immigrants, Donald Trump has his hand on the on the nuclear button.
Don't. Listen, Donnie, Donnie, hear me. It's school time. I'm a teacher. I'm stressed out. I had time and energy and, some emotion to spare during the summer, but not during the school year. Can you please keep your life together and your mouth shut and your fingers off of your phone, antagonizing people in other countries?
So I don't even want to address Donald Trump yet. Okay. I want to address the listeners, Twitter, and the media.
Go for it.
All right. So Kim Jong-un showed a video of the United States, Washington, D.C., the White House, on fire as a result of a nuclear attack from them. And he said that our country and our way of life is something that he wants to destroy. Do you know when he did that?
When?
5 years ago.
There it is.
And every year since he has been in office, which I think has been for the last almost decade now, right? The reason that I'm pointing that out is that we have to stop the sensationalism, right? Mm-hmm. North Korea is not an actual threat to us. North Korea has been doing what they're doing. Like the stuff that he's been saying that's been getting picked up on the news and sensationalized, which is part of the reason why Donald Trump is reacting the way that he's reacting, because he obviously pays attention to the media more so than his security agencies. I think that that's the important part, right? Like, we have to think about this logistically. Like, I understand that Kim Jong-un is a crazy person, right? But think about this. Why would he ever preemptively strike the United States? Can he destroy the entire United States at once?
No.
He can't, right? So what's going to happen if he attacks us?
Death.
Why would he do that? What he is trying to do is he's doing military posturing so that we don't attack him, because we have a history of removing dictators in power, and we haven't done that to North Korea, right? Yeah. So Donald Trump's non-savvy tail, for whatever reason, sees these threats that this man has been making forever, and he decides that he wants to make some threats of his own. Like, he's ridiculous. What did he say? He said,
I'm bringing fire and fury.
Fire and fury.
He said, first off, the man said, you best believe. I said, okay, Donald, you best believe.
The thing about it is the mixed messages that are coming from the White House. Like Senator McCain was like, hey guys, we don't all feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. And then a general in the United States, this is what makes me mad. What makes me mad is that these things are being tweeted and he's not talking to anybody. I want you to wager a guess as to how many Americans are in South Korea right now.
No clue.
There are 30,000 military personnel and civilians in South Korea right now, right? Those are 30,000 almost instant casualties, right?
Yeah.
Because the minute that we launch an attack against North Korea, they're just going to bombard South Korea. That's what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because a general came out and said, hey, the president is putting us in a bad position. He was anonymous, of course, right? But he said the president is putting us in a bad position because we're not tactically ready to attack North Korea right now if we had to. We would have to evacuate our military personnel in Japan and in Guam and in South Korea. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that the president's reckless speech is putting at risk, right? And so I was saying that this wasn't an issue because North Korea always does this. Donald Trump isn't going to do anything. But it got real for me last night because China is usually silent. Like the whole time that Obama and North Korea were going backwards and forwards, China was just like, it is what it is. And we always assume China and North Korea are allied. So we always assume that's why we say North Korea could start World War III. Because if we fight North Korea, China's going to jump in because they're obligated to, because that's their vassal state, right?
Yeah.
China came out last night and told North Korea, they said, if you attack the United States unprompted, we will remain neutral. That's hilarious because China's basically like, look, you're on your own. But that's a huge statement because that means that China believes that the tensions are in such a state that North Korea might actually do something stupid at this point in time. So now it's kind of terrifying. So we have to stop with the media sensationalization.
Just like that.
Babadabation. What's the word I was trying to say?
I wish I knew.
Sensationalism. Yes.
I think you're dead on with it. Is that this has been going on for years. And before Kim Jong-il or whatever the heck his name is, his daddy was doing the same dang things. Like nothing has changed. This has been going on for years, decades. The only issue is that now we have a president that feeds into this, who cares more about his presence on social media than I guess his standings and his policy as an actual president. I was listening to another podcast, a political one, and they were talking about something that I thought was interesting, where they're like, hey, it may get to the point where instead of Donald running off his mouth, maybe he does need to talk to them, and we need to come to some sort of agreement with North Korea, which I assume the people have been doing before, where essentially they're doing this because they just want to remain in power and they want to have Kim Jong-un, whatever, wants to have the face that he has now. So why don't we come to a position where we're like, hey, if you don't blow up people and you get rid of your nukes, we'll let y'all remain in power and do whatever dictator things you want to do over there. But there's got to be some sort of nonviolent solution. I have faith that level heads will come through here in the situation, that at the end of the day, hopefully Donald will listen to the advisors that are around him and he won't, react the way that he has been. But I mean, we've been saying this from the beginning, like him having his Twitter is a bad look. And people are like, no, it's good because he can blow off steam and he can type how he feels. It's like, do you really want him doing that when you've got someone as ridiculous and as prompted as Kim Jong-un? Like,
he stated on Twitter, this is a live tweet. He said, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded, should North Korea choose to act unwisely. Hopefully, Kim Jong-un will find another path. Why would you say that? Why do you feel the need to?
Like, why?
On Twitter, right?
Like, why?
And Twitter's terms and services clearly state that
oh my God.
we do not tolerate anyone who posts violent threats, wishes for the physical harm, death, or disease of individuals or group, or references to mass murder or violent events. I feel like
They're
Twitter,
not gonna kick
we
Donald.
should kick Donald. He is in clear violation of the terms and services of Twitter. Clear.
Do you realize the fit that he would have if he lost his Twitter? Like, do you realize how ridiculous that would be? Twitter would be fake news.
Fake news.
Listen, it's fake
news. I'm starting my own Twitter. Fake news.
I think that's the first time that you've impersonated Donald, and it was fantastic. I love it.
But yeah, Donald Trump is the most. Somebody needs to take his Twitter. The thing about it that's tripping me out is that this is the first time. So I know that it sounds like China saying that there will be neutral is not a hard line, but this is the first hard line that I've ever seen China draw on North Korea, which means that in some aspect, Donald Trump's Twitter, Twitter national relations has worked. He threatened a sovereign nation with nuclear war.
I hate it.
In 140 characters or less.
Listen. And got a response. Like that's and got a response.
He got China to back out. He got China to back out of World War III with a tweet.
With a tweet.
It's ridiculous.
Hey,
man.
hats off, Donald.
He might be the one.
The one to what? Kill us all?
All I know is he better not kill us all before Star Wars comes out in December.
Or Black Panther.
That'd be.
You sent me that, and I cried a little bit.
This better not be the actual Last Jedi, Donald Trump.
Oh no. Oh no.
That would make me very
Donald, please.
upset.
There's so much good entertainment coming out next year, Donald. If you kill us all before the last season of Game of Thrones, we're going to have some issues, Donald.
That would be messed up. Which I want to talk about. But speaking of games, did you play the NBA Live demo?
Unfortunately, yes.
It was terrible. So me and my sister, along with millions of other Americans that like basketball and video games, we are beholden to NBA 2K.
We just are.
We like NBA 2K. Now, I was an NBA Live fan back on when it was the only video game. Back on PlayStation, Live 99, where everybody was the same height. It was Player 99 was Jordan. Remember that? Because he wouldn't give his likeness to the game. But then in 2000, something beautiful happened.
Dun, 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 dun.
NBA 2K happened.
2K
happened on the Dreamcast, bro. Allen Iverson with the cornrows was on the cover.
Wow,
man. That's one of my favorite video game series. Speaking of video games, if you like video games,
okay,
I have something for you.
What you got?
You can go to www.gameflyoffer.com/EBS podcast and get a free 30-day trial for Gamefly. Now, what this is going to afford you is for free, right? This is free. For 30 days, they will send you any game you want. You play the game, send it back. They'll send you another one. You can cancel it at the end of the 30 days. No penalty, right? or you can keep the service. It's basically Netflix, for video games. Again, it's awesome. You can go to www.gameflyoffer.com/EBS podcast. That would help the podcast out if you were to do that. Again, that is www.gameflyoffer.com/EBS podcast. But anyway, the NBA Live demo came out. It was trash.
I had no intentions on buying Live anyway.
But it's $30 cheaper.
Is it really?
Yeah, they slashed the price.
Probably because they knew that it was trash. So
they're trying to get back in the market. But they have the WNBA on it this year. How you feel about that?
Wait, Live or 2K?
Live.
Live has WNBA?
Yeah.
Oh, I could care less. I don't watch them in real life. I don't need to. Dang. I need to stop. I'm literally a girls basketball coach. Listen, I support it. I supported WNBA. I support you out here. Like, I wouldn't play that game mode, but
if the Wings make the playoffs, I'm going to the game.
Why didn't you tell me? My friend has season tickets. Like, we could have been going to games.
I mean, let's make that happen.
Okay.
Let's do that.
If they make the playoffs, I will also go. I'm mad that they traded Odyssey Sims.
I know that was kind of bad.
Odyssey went to Baylor. Odyssey and Brittany Griner were my neighbors for like a solid 3 years, so that was a thing. But yeah, I'm mad that they traded.
Tell me more about that.
Why? They were our neighbors. They threw parties.
Did you ever go to any?
No, Brittany Griner did come to my house once when they won. I hate everything about you. When they won the Big 12, my roommates and I were big fans. So
what else did she win?
We wrote a note, and we were like, "Hey, congratulations! You should come over and celebrate. We have cookie and alcohol." And we put that on their door, and then didn't hear anything. And then a couple weeks later, like randomly, we're on Dia Deloso, on Baylor's day off. They came over and we met them and hung out. And...
Wait, so Brittany Griner came over to your apartment and just kicked it?
Yeah,
for real?
We took shots. Yeah, that was the thing.
You took shots with Brittany Griner?
Yeah,
fantastic.
Man,
did anything come of it, or
we're not friends? No. No. I hate everything about you.
Okay.
From the top of your head to the soles of your feet.
We're gonna sing gospel songs now. Is that what this is?
Okay. Anyways, what's going on?
The real side chicks of Charlotte were
I'm
on
not
the Breakfast Club
doing this. Do you understand?
Did you watch?
Have I not made it clear my stance on side chicks? Have I not? I'm not doing this.
Reiterate for the people what your stance on side chicks are.
Support side chickery. Do you understand?
Side chickery.
If someone has a man, be gone. It was that interview was the most trash interview I've ever seen in my life.
Tell me more.
Like, it was so uncomfortable. First off, there were 30 of them. Why are you proud? Why are you proud to be on the side? And they were so openly like, it's cool. It's like, it's not even like a thing. Like, I'm gonna try to steal the man. I'm just there for the weekend. SZA, listen, I like you, SZA, but you have done something that has just made me upset. And you have created this culture in which you're making young women feel like being a side chick is an okay thing. And let me just go ahead and tell you, it is not an okay thing to be a side chick. If you are a side chick, I'm sorry, you are trash. That is somebody else's man. So you can pack up your things, trash lady, and get gone because you're trash. Get out of my face. If you are willing to break a home, you are a home wrecker. That's what it is. So you can be his on the weekend, but you're trash and he's trash. And that woman needs to go ahead and go and find her a better man. So all the Tashas out there, y'all can get gone because I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm through. I'm over this. Oh my God, for the weekend, this lifestyle. I'm a side chick. I will not give them a dime penny. I will not give them a toothpick. I refuse to support the side chicks. I don't care where you're from. I don't care if it's Hollywood, Atlanta, NY, LA. Don't care where you're from. I will not support you. Be a side chick over there at home. I don't care. Shut your mouth. Your opinion is invalid, side chick. That is rude. I support monogamy. I support relationships. I do not support side chicks. Rant done.
I think it's safe to say somebody's been cheated on in this room before.
You know what's funny? I have not been cheated on before. No, but I support stable relationships. And I think it's foolish that we're out here promoting side chicks. Now, if you want to be out here sleeping around, hoeing it up, if you will, go for it.
Hoeing it up, if you will.
If you're single, if he ain't got a woman, you ain't got a man, go for it. Live your life like it's golden. But if there is somebody else involved, if that person you're trying to talk to is involved, find you another one. Not just females, men, you can be side pieces too. Don't be a side. Don't do it. I don't understand that mentality. Like, why wouldn't you want more for yourself? Like, I wouldn't want to be someone's side. I'm to the point where I really can't even date someone that broke up with somebody else to be with me, because then it's like there's no security there. Like, I'm not going to be with you if I'm not your first, your last, your everything. I don't want to be your sides, your bits. You understand? I'm not bits. I'm not the scrappings. I'm the full meal. I will not be an appetizer. I'm the main course. Do you
Lindsay
understand?
is dropping jewels on you young. Are you young women listening
Go ahead
right
and take
now?
notes.
She is dropping some jewels right now.
Take notes. So
And
that's
she
how I
called all of you that are side pieces trash.
May-
So I hope I
Listen,
feel bad
was-
for the side
listen,
piece
I was
demographic
gonna,
right
listen,
now.
if you are a side chick, go ahead. Don't message Gilbert because he's in a relationship. But you can go ahead, message me, because I love my sister-in-law. Message me and let me know how you feel about your side chickery. And I'm curious. I would love, Gilbert, just like you want somebody from the KKK, I would love to have a side chick come on the show. I would love to interview. Matter of fact, real side chicks of Hodom, if you want to come through and
Real
come
side
be,
chicks of Hodom?
if you want to come through and be on the podcast, I would love
Wow.
to interview you.
Let me just state the same thing that my sister stated for the KKK. I think I'm going to have to sit that one out.
You can be absent that day. That's
yeah,
fine. But I would love to interview
I
you
won't
and
be able to
fig-
be there when you
and figure
interview
out-
the side chicks of Hodom.
Your
Where is Hodom?
I don't
Is
think-
that in North Carolina or South Carolina?
never been to Hodom? That's good.
I have never been to Hodom. Hodom, South Carolina, population 69.
Oh no!
I have never been there before.
Come on down.
Lord
listen,
have mercy.
Listen, I just don't
Going
have-
hard on the side chicks
I don't
today.
support it. I don't support side chickery. I've made that clear. So I won't be watching that show. I won't be tweeting that show. I won't be liking any tweets about that show. I just don't support it. I don't care. And what made me sad is that out of the 8 of them, there was like 1.5 of them that seemed like they were somewhat intelligent. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you going to make your money off of this? And like, I get it that there's females out here and males. Don't get me wrong. There's other people out here that are just trying to get famous and trying to get their 15, but you need to chill out, man.
I didn't realize that this topic was going to go this long. This is.
I apologize.
I didn't know
sorry.
that you had so much pent up aggression and fire for side chicks.
I don't have. It's not side chicks. It's just within the last year there has been this culture shifting of people that are applauding it, and I just hate it. It's cheating. It's cheating. And let me go ahead and stop. I'm not going to apologize to side chicks, but what I will do is get equally on the foolish people who are out here having side chicks and side men. You are trash too. If you are a male and you are out here with a weekend chick and you have a 9 to 5 Monday, not a 9 to 5, if you have a 24-hour steady relationship with a woman who is holding you down, how dare you? I hope you kick rocks and trip and fall down a flight of stairs. How dare you? How could you as a man just be like, you know what? I got a good thing going, but I'm gonna go get this side piece over here. Man, I hope you catch them usher herpes. That's what I hope
Did you
get
just
in
wish
your life.
herpes on people?
I wish herpes on all side chicks and ratchet dudes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm done.
But what about the listeners?
What?
We have. What if we have? What if we have side chick listeners? Everybody that's listening to the podcast is a podcast listener.
This is true.
Do we have any? Do we have? Do we have is
Again.
anybody from Hodom, South Carolina,
Again,
listening to the
side
podcast
chicks?
right
I'm
now?
not gonna apologize to you because you're still trash. But make better choices. Men, make better choices. If you're in a relationship, stop hoeing around.
Stop hoeing.
Stop hoeing.
Stop going to Hodom.
Stop going to Hodom.
I know it's a cheap flight.
You don't need to vacation there.
but you don't need to go to Hodom.
You don't need to go to Hodom.
None of
I
the
know-
Carolinas.
None of the Carolinas. At the
It's
end of the
not
day,
worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth herpes. Side chicken is not worth herpes. That should be a slogan. That's actually
Side chicken is not worth herpes.
That's actually it's on the billboard in Hodom.
It's on the billboard at KFC.
And is KFC the sponsor of Side Chicks?
They're the sponsor of Side Chicken.
My God, I don't have any other words for you.
All right, so Lindsay has made very clear the educated black sibling stance on side chicks.
We're gonna go ahead and put.
We
what
have
is
a
the-
hard line
We have
on
a
side
hard
chicks.
line on side chicks. They're not welcome here. I'm sorry.
Nobody from Hodom, South Carolina
None.
is welcome here.
None. You can pack your bags and move on. That's what you can do.
I hope that Hodom, South Carolina is not a real place.
We need to go ahead and look it up. If you actually live in Hodom, I apologize. You should probably pick a better place to live.
You-
I pray that your finances are in order so that you can be blessed to move.
oh my goodness. So Donald Glover is possibly making new music.
That's exciting to me. He's one of my favorites.
The thing about Donald, though, is Donald has this whole thing about being punk, right? He wants to be punk, which is just his way of saying he wants to be different, which is why he put out the last album, Awaken My Love, the way that he did it. My question would be, what if he puts out another album, what is it going to be?
I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I'm a big Donald Glover fan, both in music and comedy and acting. I'm a big fan, but his music is everything. This last album I thought I wasn't gonna like, but when you sleep on it, it's hot fire.
It is.
I hope that
you gotta live with it.
I hope that he raps on the next album. I don't
because
think he
the
will,
internet
but...
is one of my favorite albums of the last decade.
Oh yeah,
it's a good album.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. But I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm excited for it, and I'll listen to it. I'll be there for it regardless.
I'm there for that.
I'm there for Donald at all times. I want him to come up with more stand up. Come back to stand up, Donald.
I'm with that. So I feel like we're in a this is a quick bounce to a different subject, but I feel like we're in a
bounce.
After last week's podcast, you're
well,
gonna sing R. Kelly.
I feel like
this
since
podcast.
you are an advocate for
on
R.
this
Kelly,
podcast, you're gonna sing
I
R.
feel
Kelly.
like since that's your dude, I thought I'd give you
R. Kelly is not my dude.
Really?
He is not my dude.
Anyway,
he is. R. Kelly is a sexual predator. R. Kelly is a pedophile.
Okay.
R. Kelly is a manipulator, and he is a sick, horny old man that should go away.
I feel like you're putting on for the people because you're drawing your hard line right now. But last week you were definitely advocating for R. Kelly and his ratchetry.
I did not advocate for R. Kelly. What I advocated for is that what he is doing currently is not illegal. That's all I said.
And Rick Ross, you were on a roll last week.
I did not advocate for Rick Ross
you
either.
were surely
all I wanted
too.
was for there to not be fake news, because what you were quoting about Rick Ross was not correct.
How dare I paint Rick Ross in a terrible light?
He painted himself in a terrible light.
How dare I do that? How dare I make him say those terrible things?
No, but you
How dare I tell him to write rap lyrics about drugging women and going ahead and just doing things?
You're going to do this? Is that what you're going to do?
I just wanted to talk. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you and the people, but you out here trying to front and stunt, and I'm not gonna let.
I feel like that's you right now.
I'm done.
You done?
I'm sorry.
So I feel like I don't. You ruined my segue, so I don't. So what do you want me to do now?
Bounce, 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 bounce.
So you're just gonna sing R. Kelly.
Just because he's a terrible person doesn't mean that his music is terrible.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
So what are we supposed to do, right?
Don't you have to like separate?
Do you?
I mean, listen, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, but I'm not gonna stop listening to Jay. I'm sorry. Like,
I know people who don't listen to Alicia Keys.
I do as well.
So I mean, there are people that are taking that stance.
I'm not gonna be one of them.
But check this out. This is a good point, right? Mm-hmm. Alicia Keys stopped making good music.
That's debatable.
I don't think Alicia Keys is making as good music
making
as
the
she
music
used to be, right?
No.
I think that if "Step in the Name of Love" wasn't a hot song, you wouldn't be worried about supporting him.
I'm not.
If Jeremiah had the same issues as R. Kelly was, Jeremiah would be out of here. You wouldn't hear any more Jeremiah songs. It's because R. Kelly's songs are good and you like them. You're trying to say, oh, well, I'm going to separate the music from the artist.
I'm mad that you're throwing shade at Jeremiah because he has some good songs.
He had a good song. Name 3 Jeremiah songs.
He made Planes, huh? Dang, I like the Planes remix, though. It's not even really his song.
One.
What was the other one? No, he had that, I Thought I Told Ya, I'm a Star. He had that one. And he had the other song, that Wee Wee song that just came out. What's the big song? Did he make that one? Jeremiah was a bad example, but main point.
No, Jeremiah was a great example.
It was a great example for you. For me, not so much. But main point, I feel like I can it just depends on what they did. But I feel like I can separate the artist from the art. If that makes sense.
Should you?
To a certain extent. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there are some artists that let their personal lives leak into their music. But if I don't know. That's a hard question.
It's a hard question. It's a question that we have to deal with as a society, right? When somebody that makes music that we like does terrible things, what do we do? Because again, there's some people that, I know people that are like, I'm not listening to Alicia Keys. I do know people that's like, oh man, I don't mess with Jay-Z anymore because I love Beyonce, so I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But I think that's different, right? So cheating, as egregious as it is, that's not in the same category as pedophilia, which is what R. Kelly was accused of.
Yeah.
Right? That's different.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that we are still like, oh man, Step in the Name of Love is a great song. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I know he peed on a 16-year-old, but he believed he could fly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But then, isn't that when he made his little redemption songs?
he did make some redemption
That's what
songs.
it, that's what
didn't
it
he?
was. Like, that's what, apparently, if you make redemption songs, it's okay to break the law.
You did this to the podcast. This was. Why are we
I
talking?
didn't, I'm sorry.
This is ridiculous, man.
I didn't mean to. I apologize, podcast people, to bring that
Bounce,
back up.
bounce, 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 bounce.
And I didn't even think about it in my head.
This is the remix edition.
Okay. Are you
This
done?
is a great song, man.
It's fantastic.
So I feel like we're in a golden age of television right now.
Segues.
There's a lots of great TV shows out. People debate on when it started. I think it really started with Oz and HBO and The Sopranos. Like, The Sopranos was the first real, like, super... The Sopranos went viral before going viral was a thing.
Just went viral.
You know what I mean? Like, The Sopranos was the first, like, premium movie quality TV show that was gonna be like a cultural phenomenon, right? But now we see that all the time now, where it's like TV shows are getting the same budgets as like Jerry Bruckheimer is producing shows for TNT. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. You come up with these shows, some of which we love, right? Game of Thrones being one of them. Gonna try not to spoil anything right now, but let's talk about that spoiler culture. So with the golden age of television, has been met and basically supported by the rise of streaming services and social media, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at a show like the reason why I said some people point out different shows, right, is because some people say Breaking Bad is what started the whole streaming phenomenon, right? Because Breaking Bad started streaming on Netflix, and then people were like, oh my god, this show that's been out for 6 years that nobody knew about is fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. But my question for you is, with all of this binge watching and streaming and social media and live tweeting, we've gotten into this culture of spoilery, right? So my question for you is, how do you feel about people that spoil stuff?
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Gilbert and I have mentioned multiple times, so in the last couple of episodes, that we're going to talk about spoilers. Well, here we are. I hate them. Don't spoil things for me. Now, I think that there are different levels and there are different, I guess, exceptions to that. But I feel like...
Let's define what a spoiler is.
All right, so a spoiler is when you, either knowingly or unknowingly, I guess, when you release information about a show or a movie or something that somebody else hasn't seen, and you essentially tell some valuable part of that show or story publicly, right? Is that a good?
That's a good example of a spoiler. So, for example, Game of Thrones was crazy last night as your Facebook status is not a spoiler, right? But oh my god, the dragon just burnt up everybody. That's a spoiler, right?
I mean,
is that not a spoiler? Okay, so saying oh my god, the dragon just ate Jon, I can't believe it. The dragon didn't eat Jon.
But that would be a spoiler.
That's a spoiler, right?
But if you were, it just depends on the semantics matter.
What's the statute of limitations for spoilers?
I think it just depends on the content. So, like, for me, I've had to eliminate any chance of spoilers by just going ahead and watching a show. But so, like, Game of Thrones comes on Sunday nights,
and people will live
status update during Game of Thrones, to the point where now it's like, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones that night, like, I'm sorry about you. Like, when you get on your timeline on Facebook or Twitter the next day, it's gonna be spoiled for you, and not just by other people. Like, BuzzFeed is the king and queen of spoilers.
But they have to be now, right? As a media outlet, and again, I don't want to stand up for BuzzFeed, but as a media outlet, because of how fast social media moves, if the show comes out on Sunday and my article about that show is not out on Monday morning, I'm behind.
That's true. So like I said, so I would have normally given it, like, I don't know.
I would normally say don't ever spoil it for me back in the day, but
at this point,
about 2 years ago, for me, it was a week. It's like, yo, at least give me a week to watch it. But now I'm just like, look, please, just give me 24 hours.
Please don't say anything to me.
And it's not even 24 hours. For me now, it's like, look, you got to at least give a 2-hour span after the show.
It's bad. Like, I have friends that live on different coasts from us in different time zones, and it'll be like, listen, I saw Insecure, you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry, but this is what's happening. Like, you literally have to have that conversation with people in your circle about, don't text me anything until I confirm that I've watched it. And I think it's sad, but it's just the time that we live in.
If you are, so this is the Educated Black Siblings, and we appreciate all of our white and non-colored listeners. I know you guys are out there, but if you are black and you are not watching Insecure,
I don't know what you are doing with your life.
I don't want to hear you crying about representation. I don't want to hear you crying about diversity.
Tell them.
Because we got a show that has a black showrunner, a black writer's room, a black producer, a black creator, black actors on the biggest channel that there is for media. And if y'all ain't out there supporting Insecure right now, y'all are tripping, bro. And it's a fantastic show. It's about what life is like as an awkward black woman. It deals with black issues. It deals with social issues in general, right? But it deals with issues of dating as a millennial. Like, it's a fantastic show. And we just can't, like, black people, we can't be out here complaining and then not supporting black art. That's all I'm saying, man.
Again,
So we gotta be out here and supporting Issa Rae and Insecure, man. We gotta do that, man. It's a great show.
Listen, man, I've been a fan of Issa since her Awkward Black Girl series on YouTube. So Insecure coming out was a huge deal to me because I had already connected to her on that level. This show is just amazing. And it's crazy how real it is. Like, it's literally a show made for black people. And like, I get it that other people that aren't black can watch the show and it's for them too. Like, I'm not saying that, but it just, as a black female, just to watch the show and be like, God, I do that all the time. Like, I feel that way all the time. Like, I know what it feels like to be in that kind of situation. Like, I know what it feels like to deal with those kinds of people.
It's literally what you've been crying about.
It's literally it's literally what we wanted. And I don't know why we're out here back. Like, I feel like people are supporting Insecure, but if you're not, I won't let you steal my joy.
Did you watch that's a bar. Did you watch the Moonlight video?
Yes.
Jay-Z with the Friends parody?
Yes, I did.
So first of all, I recently discovered Friends about a year ago. So me and my wife watched all of the Friends, and they actually they got Gerard Carmichael, Lil Rel, the brother from Atlanta, I can't remember his name, Issa Rae, Tiffany Haddish, and they did line for line an episode. Like, it was the episode from Friends, and I know it was a parody for the video, but I want to watch them just do Friends. And can we talk about how Jay-Z just don't do regular music videos no more?
He doesn't. Like, Jay's like, I've got a plan, I've got a thing, we're just gonna go ahead and bust it up.
Like, Jay-Z said, first of all, I'm Jay-Z and my wife is Beyonce.
Okay.
I can't do regular music videos no more.
I'm not mad.
Like, he's putting out movies for his music videos. It's ridiculous. But
so can I don't think that we were going here, but I just kind of want to bring this up real quick to see your opinion. So on the Moonlight video, BuzzFeed posted it, and I was like, okay, BuzzFeed, whatever. And underneath it, people were going in saying that it was terrible that they did that. Like, why would you change Friends? Like, they were mad, saying, like, if we did this with a black show, if we just made all the black characters white people, y'all would have a fit. So why is it okay that Jay-Z does this for Friends? And that just kind of...
Black privilege, that's why.
Okay.
That's why. Because we're underrepresented and we're minorities and we can do things that you can't do, just like you can do things that we can't do. Black privilege.
Okay.
How?
There it is.
Hove.
I'm done.
That's why.
Sign out.
I mean, and look, Jay is the king of the triple entendre. The name of the song is Moonlight. The chorus is stuck in La La Land. He's trying to make a point, and the flipping of the races on this show was the point. Hannibal Buress looking at Gerard. This is a spoiler alert. Hannibal Buress looking at. So pause if you haven't watched Moonlight. Fast forward 30 seconds. Spoiler alert, right? Hannibal Buress looking at Gerard Carmichael and be like, "This is terrible. This is not good." People in the comments, did you watch the video? They acknowledged that it wasn't good and that it was ridiculous to be doing, right? That was the point. You know what? I'm glad you got it, YouTube commenter.
There it is.
Good job.
There it is. Let them know. Dang. That's real.
Sorry.
I feel some aggression there.
I'm sorry. You got to rant at side chicks. I wanted to rant at somebody. I don't even know who it was.
It's okay.
Alt-right.
Oh,
Shout out.
please
to
don't.
you.
Please stop shouting out the alt-right.
And the alt-left. And the
Oh.
alt-front. And the alt-back.
All the alts.
All the alts.
All alts.
I love you guys. I'm going to edit this part out, I think.
Oh no.
I don't want this.
If we could not have the alt segment, that'd be fantastic.
I don't want this.
Okay.
Last thing on spoilers, the director for Ryan Johnson for the new Star Wars movie came out yesterday and said he was like, diehard fans, you guys should not watch the trailer and you should stay away from all media if you don't want to be spoiled.
Then why make that trailer?
And I was like, but the thing is that no matter what you put in the trailer,
It's like you'll see something.
you'll see stuff from the movie. So he's like, if you're a diehard Star Wars fan and you really, really want, and if you think about it, the trailers aren't for people like me. A trailer of a movie is supposed to be trying to convince, hey, you should want to come see this movie. I'm going to see The Last Jedi regardless, right? So I mean, he's got a point. It's like, why am I? And the reason why he's saying that is because a lot of like Star Wars fans are ridiculous, and we will, especially on Reddit, we'll dissect everything. And Rogue One got hung because they had scenes in Rogue One trailer that ended up getting cut from the movie, and the trailer cut these scenes to make it look like Jane Erso was going to be something that she wasn't. Like, she had on a stormtrooper outfit, and there was a scene with her in front of a TIE fighter. None of those things were actually in the movie, right? And people were like, oh, well, you can't do this. And then only fans look at stuff in that detail, right? So he's like, look, if you don't want to be mad about the trailer when you watch the movie, just don't watch the trailer, right? So it's like, again, I know that this kind of sucks, but looping this all back into the spoiler thing, at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want online. If we don't want spoilers, we got to try to avoid them.
We can't.
I wish that you guys wouldn't do it, you know? Shout out to my line brother. My line brother posted a status the other day, and he put asterisk, 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 spoiler alert, spoilers below, and then talked about what he had to. I feel like that takes like an extra 2.5 seconds. Just put spoilers coming.
That's it.
So when I'm scrolling through my feed, I say, it's a spoiler right here.
Go ahead, won't read that.
I don't want to read that. Anyway.
Good looking out.
This has been a Helter Skelter podcast.
It's been all over the place.
But you know what time it is.
You know, a lot of girls be thinking my songs are about them.
Yeah.
This is not to get confused.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
They're gonna shut us off.
Top 5 Drake songs.
6 6 6 6
Yeah.
6 6 6 6 6 6 6 6.
Yeah. And that is a clip from Drake's Best I Ever Had. You can buy that on iTunes by searching Drake Best I Ever Had. Universal Media. I'm not trying to steal your song, so please don't send me any messages about it. I'm not taking credit for that song. That was written by Aubrey Graham and his ghostwriters. So there's that, right?
That was a lot.
So welcome to the top 5
my
segment
God.
of Educated Black Siblings. Today we are going to be covering off on our top 5 Drake songs.
I'm excited, man.
I am too.
I
So
love Drake.
I did a little bit of homework for this. I actually
Okay.
listened to every song in Drake's discography with the exception of Views because it's trash.
Views doesn't exist to us. Gilbert and I just openly don't accept it.
And this was like, for me, this is like when you have an ex and you're scrolling like back all the way back through time in your Facebook photos and you're remembering all the times that y'all had and how y'all loved each other. And then you get to a certain point and you remember that ex broke your heart. Mm-hmm. Like when I went back to the beginning, I was like, yo, Drake is so hard, right? And then I got to 10 bands and I was like, dude got a ghostwriter.
Oh no.
It broke my heart all over again, man.
Oh no.
That being said, I love Drake, man. I'm a Drake fan. So this top 5 is near and dear to my heart. So let's jump into it, man. You got honorable mentions today?
Honorable mentions, not particularly.
I have 3 honorable mentions.
Go for it.
These songs would have made my list
Okay.
if it wasn't for the fact that reference tracks came out for them with Quentin Miller rapping them instead of Drake. And that would be Energy, 10 Bands, Know Yourself, right?
Okay.
If You're Reading This Is Too Late is a really good rap album. It's just bars, man. It's bars. It was actually sonically one of Drake's most cohesive projects, right? Like from top to bottom, there was a sound that he was going for. He went for it. A lot of people say that those were throwaway tracks. I don't believe that, just because of how cohesive it was. And it was just all bars, man. I'm a fan of lyricism. I'm a fan of rapping. I'm a fan of MCs. I'm a fan of punchlines. And he was just going in on there. I mean, he did his sing-songy thing on that album, but it was lots of bars on there. Energy, 10 bands, running through the 6 with my woes. Hey, like that.
Hey.
That's my honorable mention. That's my honorable mention. Get into your number 5.
All right, so my number 5 was that lovely track that Gilbert just played. It was Best I've Ever Had. That song is what introduced me to Drake. And it just, I don't know, man. It just has that old school Drake sound when he first came out. Drake don't sound like that no more. He doesn't, that feel's gone. And I miss that feel about Drake. Like it's very reminiscent of me, and especially it came out when I was in high school, and I missed that. I missed that whole time, the whole feel that I get from the song. It's the best I ever had.
That's actually part of why I really like Drake, is what you just said. It's because Drake and I happen to be about the same age, and he's always written about his life from a very honest perspective, and that has always been really. That's always resonated with me, and I like what you just said, because that Best I Ever Had, he was in that phase where he was still kind of a kid trying to make it. He wasn't like super successful yet.
Yeah. I should also say that I was introduced to Drake through Degrassi, and then Best I Ever Had as a rapper.
What's interesting is that I used to watch Degrassi as well, but it took me a long time to make the connection that was Drake. But yeah, Wheelchair Jimmy's doing his thing, man. So my number 5 is kind of weird. So technically, I'm going to be honest with you. My number 5 should be those 3 songs that I just listed, but disqualified because of steroid use. So my number 5 is a weird one. It's Tuscan Leather, right? The intro to Nothing Was the Same. That song is 6.5 minutes of just rap.
And that's what you needed from Drake.
It's just rap. And it's first of all, that's a slept on intro. Like, that's one of the best intros. I mean it's not a top 10 intro, but it's a really
Drake intro.
It's a solid intro, right? Yeah. And then I love the fact that he's aware that he's how long am I gonna take on the intro, like, and he's just bars.
Goes for it.
I love it. I like bars, so that was. I don't have nothing else to say about Tuscan Leather. It's a dope intro. What's your number 4?
My number 4. So here, I want to go ahead and just put this out here that I also enjoy when Drake is just giving you bars, when he's just going for it. But I can deal with sing-songy Drake. I just want to go ahead and put that out here, that I don't hate sing-songy Drake like a lot of rap purists do. Okay, I'm okay. Like, I get that he claims to be an MC and then doesn't rap half the time. I'm frustrated as well, but I also don't mind sing-songy Drake. So with that being said, my number 4...
Drake be like, I'm the best MC. Right.
My number 4 is Passion Fruit. Where he just sings.
I also love Passion Fruit, but can somebody send me a version of Passion Fruit without the weird karaoke intro with his dad?
I hate that as well. He's like, I'm gonna sing it again. Like, I don't need that little part. I always skip over that part and just go. That song is great. I guess I can put Blim on there too. I'm gonna go ahead and put Blim on my number 4 too. Those 2 songs just make me want to just chill out and lay out on the beach, which I did a couple weeks ago, and I listened to Passion Fruit on repeat. And that song is just hot fire.
Who keeps bringing more? I've had too many.
I wish y'all could see how hyped Gilbert is right now in the studio.
Virginia's got me done already.
There it is. Keep going.
I'm Blim for real. Oh, man, that's my joint, man.
I'm mad at the smile on your face. How happy you just got. All right, that's my number 4. What's your number 4?
Oh, man, me and my wife, when we went to St. Lucia, I had Blim literally playing 24/7 for 4 days.
When Gilbert was in South Lucia or whatever it's called, St. Lucia?
Yeah.
Who's Lucia? Not my Lucia. So
Our Lucia.
Our Lucia. When Gilbert was in Our Lucia, he sent me Snapchats, and when I tell you that I thought he just sent the same snap over and over again, like I thought it was just from the same day, because that song was playing in every single Snapchat he sent me for a week. It's not that.
It's lit, man.
You need to calm down.
So my number 4 is Fancy.
Why?
Let me tell you why. So this is the only song on my list that has a feature on it because T.I. is on that song, which is kind of bizarre. But T.I. is on that song. I know an embarrassing amount of Drake lyrics.
We see.
Just by the way.
Okay.
But Fancy is on my list. First of all, Swiss Beats, one of the greatest rap producers all time. Ever, period.
King
Right?
of side chicks.
So I like this. Side chicks. Yikes. Alicia Keys. Was she a side chick?
He was talking to her while he was married.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys is the definition of side chick.
Alicia Keys is shout out to the GOAT side chick.
If you didn't realize this, go back and listen to Alicia Keys' old music. I think I'm jealous of your girlfriend. Alicia.
What's the song that she had with Drake? That was she did the song
Fireworks?
No, not Fireworks. That was I think that was Alicia Keys, but not that one. She had a song with Drake called like Unforgettable or something like that. Oh man, I'm gonna look it up. Somebody's gonna
Just
tell
go
me in the
listen to
comments,
Alicia's
but,
old discography and you'll be like, man, Alicia was the queen of side chicks.
Anyway.
She was telling us. I'm sorry.
Back to the top 5. We'll have a top 5 side chicks another time.
We know we won't.
That'll be an interesting list.
You know what? Next podcast, top 5 side chicks. It's gonna happen.
So Swiss, first of all, the beat is fantastic. And then it's co-produced by Swiss Beats and 40, right? So at the end of the song, they hit that flip where it's that super OVO sound, but it's still got the Swiss Beats ad-lib. I realize I like this song for nothing about Drake.
I see now.
But Swiss Beats has the best ad-libs. Like, Showtime.
There it is.
Like, and then when Drake is the Atlanta girls, let me see your hand. Wave 'em at them, let 'em in. Anyway, I like that song, man. Yeah, Universal is definitely coming for me for this podcast.
Like, you
but
are going in.
whatever. What's your number 3, girl?
All right, so my number 3 is actually 3 songs. My number 3, so 3 for 3. It's Over. Over on Dead Body. Over My Dead Body, Shot for Me, and Crew Love. It's the first 3 track. Well, it's the first 3 tracks of Take Care minus headlines because I don't like headlines. Take Care is my favorite.
I don't have anything from Take Care. Yes I do.
So Take Care is my favorite Drake album. I feel like that's the most cohesive album that he's put out. I love that album. It's really the only one that I will play start to finish and rap every song and love it straight through, except for Headlines. I don't like that song. But those 3 songs I just really love. Like, they're different, but I love them.
Take Care is probably the closest thing Drake has to a classic, I think.
They loving the crew.
So my number 3 is UGK, which is on Take Care. As one of my favorite songs. Again, this song. So one of my criteria for liking a rap song is that I have to wish that I wrote that song a lot of times, right? And I wish that I wrote UGK. Okay. Like it's a great, like, first of all, he's rapping on it, like just straight bars, and I like that. But again, Drake and I are about the same age, and we're both big Lil Wayne fans, right? So when he's intertwining Wayne bars in there, and he's just like in that part when he's like, "Well, me and my brothers was all about this from New Orleans singing, walking like a man, finger on my trigger, I got money in my pocket, I'm a uptown J." Like, that's from an obscure Lil Wayne and Birdman song from 2005. It's like, I feel like if I sat down with Drake and we made a list of our favorite Lil Wayne songs, like, we would have some of the same favorite Lil Wayne songs.
It's almost like you and Drake are the same person.
Yeah, but not. But anyway, UGK is a dope song. That beat is dope. I also like UGK the group, so I thought that hook was a dope shout out. UGK is my number 3. I like it.
All right, so my number 2 is Successful.
She said I'd never be as good as Trey Songz. Boy, was she wrong.
Listen, Trey is fantastic on that. I always love those verses. I don't know why. I just really like that song. One more time, Trey?
Yeah.
I don't really know what to do with you right now in this moment. But again, it goes back to the same thing with Best I Ever Had. It's just that old school Drake feel when I first got into Drake, and I was like, man, I'm just loving the bars he's spitting. I love the way that he feels, and I love how it's the same I felt the same way about Drake that I felt about Kanye, where he was rapping about, well, I mean, he still raps about like bitches and hoes, but the fact that he's rapping, the fact that he's rapping about his feelings and he's over here and he's talking about his mom and talking about all the things that he wants, I appreciated it. So I like Successful. I always have. It's my number 2.
My number 2 is Worst Behavior. Cause never loved us.
Okay.
No, again, this one is just his rhyme scheme on the second half of this song is bananas, and I'm not gonna quote it.
You can.
I'm not gonna quote, but this song, he rapped his tail off on this song, man. Like that song, bananas. Remember? That's it.
Remember?
That's all I got, man. Like just go back and listen to the second half of this song where he changes his rhyme scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely bananas.
All right. So my number 1.
Bar mitzvah money like my last name, Mordecai. Why, brother? All right, go ahead. You're number 1.
So my number 1. So I'm gonna get hate, and it's fine. You can hate me all day long. I don't care.
Bedrock.
Nigga. You can hate me all day long. I don't care. So on Take Care, Drake did this fantastic thing where he took a hood rat Gilbert is literally walking. Gilbert just left the building. Gilbert has left the building. Listen, he can leave. Listen, on Take Care, Drake took a hood rat classic of Back That Thing Up, and he said, listen, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a ballad. And Drake said, girl, you look good. I want you back. Why are you hating on my number 1? Practice is everything to me. But if it makes you feel better, I didn't just put Practice. I also put his remake of Teenage Fever. Or Teenage Fever of If You Have My Love.
Teenage Fever is legit.
Listen, Teenage Fever and Practice. I love it when Drake does his little remixes. When he takes these pop songs or he takes these hood rat songs and he says, you know what? I'm going to slow it down and put some emotion into it. I like that. I know that's not bars. I know that's whatever, but that takes skill to do that. That takes skill, and I appreciate the skill. I recognize the skill, and Practice is everything. So that's my number 1 Drake song. You can get mad all day long if you want to, Gilbert. You know that song is fire.
Practice is my.
There's only been a couple other people that you've been with. I'ma trust you. I'ma get benefit of that, and you can do it all day long.
Practice is my second least favorite Drake song.
Okay, well you're my least favorite Drake song. You can get out.
My first least favorite Drake song is Marvin Drew. That is what I like to call the simp anthem. All right, so my number 1 Drake song is a song off of So Far Gone. It is called Say What's Real. Huh. So this is my favorite Drake song. This is the first Drake song that I ever liked. This is the Drake song that made me a Drake fan. It is ridiculous. I'm from a small town where everybody talks and everybody listens, and somehow the truth just always comes up missing. Like, my goodness.
There it is.
They try to take a piece of my soul. I gotta stop, man. But that song is lit, man. I relate to that song, man. That song is, I mean, I don't relate to having a phantom, but I relate to the, to the sentiment of the song, right? It's a great song. Say What's Real is a great song. It's over a great beat. It's that Kanye song off of 808s, which I also love, but I thought that song was fantastic, man. I'm a Drake fan. You know, I wasn't too happy with the reference track thing. That definitely hurt my Drake fandom a little bit.
Did it really though? Because it doesn't look like
still clearly a Drake fan.
Like it
right?
didn't affect you in any way, shape, or form.
I messes with the Drake. So anyway, that's our top 5 Drake songs, man. Hit us up.
6666666.
Yeah. Hit us up on Instagram at
Insta?
The Educated Black Siblings. Actually, I think it's the EBS Podcast on Instagram. My bad. Hit us up at the same thing on Twitter, the EBS Podcast, or send us an email at theeducatedblacksibling@gmail.com. If you really, really like video games and you want a free trial, go ahead and hit up gameflyoffer.com/EBS Podcast, and that will help out the podcast greatly. Please, if you guys like the podcast, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter.
Yes, get the word out. Spread the word.
Spread the word about us, man. Shout out to Reddit. I should have done this at the beginning of the podcast. If you guys are still listening, shout out to the Black Fellas subreddit. They showed us a lot of love, so we appreciate that. Also, shout out to the Beyonce subreddit
coming through.
Also showed us a lot of love.
Beehive coming through.
We appreciate that. All of our Twitter our couple Twitter followers that are out there. interacting with us on Twitter. Thank you so much. We love you.
Just if you're showing us support, thank you.
Holla at us, man. Anything else for the people before we leave today?
Out of body. That's just how I feel when I'm around you, shawty. Ooh, yes. That harmony.
Yeah, man.
I can't.
EBS episode 7.
EBS.
We don't have a theme song.
We'll see you in the fortnight.
See you guys in a fortnight. Holla.